computer store or call 800-335-8500. Pennsylvania, 215-789-7008. Dow Jones Software. Bank on it.
Industrial production is up for August, rising 0.9%, but that's the smallest rise since February and prompts many economists to believe the economic recovery is moderating, which reduces potentially harmful strains on the economy and is healthy. The strong dollar is taking its toll on the nation's trade gap by making it wider. Since a strong dollar makes American products more expensive overseas, the nation's second quarter trade gap grew to 3 times its size in the first quarter. In New York, gold closed down $3.20 to $405.20 the ounce, while silver slid 9.5 cents to $11.67. Treasury bond prices finished lower on money supply worries, while the dollar was little changed on the New York Foreign Exchange. On Wall Street, the Dow Industrials lost nearly 14.5 points to close at 1,215.04 in quiet trading, down on worries about a big bulge in money supply. This is the Wall Street Journal report.
In sports, the Mets host the St. Louis Cardinals tonight. The Yankees are idle. In NFL Thursday Night Football, it's the Cleveland Browns entertaining the Cincinnati Bengals. In boxing, WBA lightweight champ Ray Boom Boom Mancini puts his title on the line against undefeated Orlando Romero of Peru at Madison Square Garden tonight. And Liberty, the American defender, made it 2 in a row today over challenger Australia 2 in the second race of the Best of 7 America's Cup Yacht Series off Newport, Rhode Island. And that's 57 WMCA News. I'm Bert Knapp, top of the hour to you. Coming up, more of Barry Farber for Bob Grant.
Bert, thank you very much. This is my last hour of this particular stint substituting for Bob Grant, and I want to thank Bob and WMCA for letting me have these afternoon hours. When you broadcast to the night population, you welcome the chance to jump out of form, out of character, out of place, and deal with you of the daytime population. I want to give my reasons for devoting this last hour to a rather unusual pursuit. So many times we have said, let us not merely visit our opinions upon listeners. Who are we? Let us give them something tangible, something that they can use for the rest of their lives that will let them realize this is the most worthwhile radio or television that they could possibly have involved themselves in. And we look for people who have done things that can enrich other people when the information is shared. Well, as I said yesterday, if you're into sports, working out, stamp collecting, any of the conventional pursuits or hobbies, then you are comfortable dealing with it. For years, I'm ashamed to admit how many because my skills do not match the years that I've spent. But for a lot of years, I've had a hobby that I considered freaky, the only one of its kind. I don't think I've met I think I meet an average of 1 person per 5 years who shares my hobby. And that is the study of foreign languages. And it remained exotic for years. The rest of the world learned English. Foreign language was required, but nobody ever learned it. High schools taught foreign languages. Colleges demanded it. And we were sort of okay. But now that the need for Americans who speak foreign languages is increasing, the American linguistic capability is diminishing. Schools are dropping language requirements. Colleges are dropping language requirements. The airline stewardess who is supposed to speak French, even if she comes from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, may indeed pass some kind of test. But woe be unto the French-speaking traveler who needs something from that particular stewardess, by and large. So I thought if I were to get a phone call from somebody who said, Barry, let me address your listeners for an hour. I'll take questions. If anybody wants to learn a foreign language quickly, easily, inexpensively at home for any reason, I will tell them how. If I were convinced that person had the goods, I'd give them an hour. No such person has called. I think that I have some tips that may be helpful to you, and I am perfectly comfortable spending the next hour abandoning all of our political differences, exciting and uplifting as they may be, and let me see if I can turn some of you people into language students at home. I apologize to the callers who were on the line at the end of the last hour. I was going to accommodate you as quickly as I could, and I'm sorry that was not made clear to you. I hope you'll call again when I'm here. Now then, here is the way to learn learn a foreign language at home? I'm not going to give the phone numbers yet. I'm going to give a little introduction. Maybe Nicole would like it better if I gave a little commercial first and then started how to learn a foreign language by yourself quickly, easily, inexpensively, and at home. And I promise you, if you do it this way, you're going to have a great deal of fun. If you call, you're going to risk holding the line for a while because I'd like to give my little presentation first and then take calls.
What's behind the pet that pizzazz? Sealy, really?
Low Furniture in Belmore, Casco, Sleep World, and Dinette in Center Reach, and Hushabye, New Hyde Park, Huntington, and Forest Hills. All want you to get away from it all. They'd like to send you down to the Tropicana Hotel and Casino for a 3-day, 2-night vacation. They'd like to fly you round trip from LaGuardia to Baderfield and Allegheny Commuter Airlines. They'd like to give you free parking at the Tropicana, dinner for 2 and breakfast every morning. But they can't do a thing unless you enter the fabulous Sealy WMCA sweepstakes. It's so easy. Just stop by at these participating Sealy retailers for details. No purchase necessary. In Belmore, Low Furniture in Center Reach, Casco, Sleep World, and Dinette, and in New Hyde Park, Huntington, and Forest Hills, it's Hushabye.
Sealy, really? Sealy, really?
It's time you people who prefer decaffeinated coffee get a break, and not just a coffee break either. There's one instant decaffeinated coffee that gives you rich, delicious coffee without making you pay fancy prices. It's Savarin Instant Decaffeinated Coffee. Savarin Decaffeinated is also the coffee of Alexa Hente, which means it has to meet the same high standards that Alexa Hente demands of regular Savarin coffee. And that means you get great-tasting coffee when you buy Savarin Instant Decaffeinated. Yet, Savarin Instant Decaffeinated sells for less than most other decaffeinated brands. So you shouldn't miss the chance to get the best buy in decaffeinated coffees, Savarin. You'll find Savarin, the decaffeinated coffee with character, in vacuum can or instant jar at any of these fine supermarkets: Pathmark, Red Apple, and Scaturo's.
Mario Perillo for Perillo Tours with our brand new Millionaire's Vacation to sunny Italy. I'll describe the features. You try to guess the price. Perillo offers your Pan Am ticket, open bar, first-class hotels, 2 meals a day for 10 escorted days to Rome, Florence, and Naples. You dine in elegant restaurants like the Osteria dell'Orso in Rome and Sabatini's in Florence. The best of the best. Travel December to April, the in time, crowdless time, opera time, bargain shopping time, and the weather's just fine. How much? $9.99 complete. So incredible a value will be sold out in a flash. So you have to really, really, really hurry. For a free Perillo brochure, see your travel agent or call the Perillo hotline now. In New York, 212-584-8300, 584-8300. Out of state, toll free, 800-431-1515, 431-1515. Call now.
WMCA, New York, New York.
Barry Farber for Bob Grant, spending the rest of this hour trying to engender some aptitude and appetite for learning foreign languages. The aptitude is there. You may not know it. Maybe I can stimulate your appetite. First question is, why should you try to learn a foreign language? I mentioned that America needs more linguists. I don't expect that to motivate you. New York City needs less trash on the streets. Well, are you going to run out and pick some up right now? It is your own selfish interest that I think I should appeal to right here. You are so much better off if you know foreign languages. There are, of course, the obvious reasons, but there are other reasons. There are social reasons, professional reasons. You just feel more aware of it. Your horizons are enlarged in a way that's hard to explain without sounding metaphysical and supernatural. It is a tremendous professional benefit, a social benefit. I recommend that lonely people learn languages and just meet people of the other country, the other culture. If you're in North Carolina, it's possible. If you're in Iowa, it's a little difficult, but it's possible. If you're in New York City, you are in many, many different worlds. So you're the luckiest potential learners of languages in the world. Now, how? Without going to a school. First of all, it must be fun at all times. Plan your study so that it never becomes drudgery. You're not going to give yourself a test. You're not going to write a nasty note to your parents if you don't know at least 90 of these 100 new words in the language by tomorrow. So relax and keep it fun. Repeated exposure is better than having words drummed into your head. I have on occasion had to drum vocabulary words into my head, and 3 days later, I don't remember them in the foreign language. I don't even remember the English. But words that you acquire, like the lyrics to a song that you have never heard before, and you hear it enough times, you wind up singing it in the shower. Let the language sink in. That's part of keeping it fun. I promised you that this is going to be inexpensive. I'm talking about any language on the planet Earth that you choose to study. I promise it would be inexpensive. You are going to have to buy some things, but they need not be expensive. Here's what I'd send you to the store to get. First of all, a good grammar book. You're going to conquer the grammar. I don't like these quick fix approaches that say no grammatical drudgery. There's going to be grammar. There's going to be no grammatical drudgery. So I promise you the best of both if you do it my way. Buy a grammar book. Now, at the same time, buy a dictionary. Don't tell me there's a little dictionary in the back of the grammar book. That's nothing. I'm familiar with those. Those are much too thin, skimpy. They're not going to last you. Buy a dictionary. In most languages, dictionaries are in paperback and they cost very little. So we've got a grammar and we've got a dictionary. I would definitely try to get the sound of the spoken language. Now, you can pay as little as $25. I'm not going to give any brand names, of course. You can pay as little as $25. You don't have to pay more than $125 to get entire courses that acquaint you with the sound of the foreign language. So if it is possible, get yourself some of that language on sound, on cassette. Get yourself the equipment to listen to those sounds of the foreign language. We're going to harness minutes you didn't know you had. We are not going to take 6 months out of your life and learn Greek. We are going to learn enough Greek in 6 months for you to be fluent in Greek, but you won't be conscious of having taken time away from your life because we will simply use the minutes that you are presently wasting and we'll let modern technology help us. Get the Walkman, the instrument that you can use when you're, only do it when it's legal. It's no longer legal in automobiles in New York. Never mind that the cassette recorder is legal in the automobile. You just can't wear the earphones. Make sure you have equipment, a little tape recorder. They're very inexpensive. I think a plain old cassette playback can be had for less than $30, a very good one, and you can carry it from room to room in your life so that while you dress, while you shave, while you fix hair, while you fix breakfast, while you make beds, while you take care of housework, in those little minutes, you can listen to the sound of the foreign language. Now, you sit down. We're not quite through shopping yet. We are going to get a newspaper or a magazine. Don't get a subscription. One newspaper, one magazine in the foreign language will do. And then the only other thing I'd like to see you get, if you can, this is optional, if you can get a book for children at about the 6th grade level in that language, that should be very good. Get some blank cards the size of business cards, blank on both sides. Every single stationery store has them. Now, let me summarize what you need. Your grammar book, your dictionary, some cassettes with the sound of the foreign language on them, language courses spoken, equipment that you can walk out of the house with. You don't have to buy special equipment. They call these products things like the Walkman. In that inexpensive cassette recorder I was telling you about, they have attachments so you can just put earphones into that. They have the same effect as the Walkman, so you can harness time when you're walking, getting a little bit of the sound of the foreign language. A newspaper, magazine in the foreign language, and some blank cards. Now, the campaign goes like this. I sentence you to the first 5 lessons in the grammar book. no holiday, don't do anything. Put all that other exciting stuff you've bought away until you have mastered the first 5 chapters. That's not very hard. The first 5 chapters are usually fairly easy stuff, but I want you to get a little grounding in the language before you go beyond that. After you finish 5 chapters of the grammar book, then your training becomes like a fugue in music. You fugue in other learning processes. When you attack lesson number 6, you at the same time pull out the newspaper while you are for 10 minutes a day here or there, waiting for a bus, on the subway, in elevators. There are many, many ways to use hidden moments. When you are waiting for the other person on the telephone to pick up, when you are put on hold, when you're waiting for the other person to answer, these are precious seconds. You can, while you're on hold, or while you're waiting for a phone to ring, while you're waiting for an elevator, while you're waiting at a stoplight, I mean, even as a pedestrian, you have to stand there and wait. You can pull out little flashcards and your grammar book. These are hidden minutes, and it's just delicious to realize that you can harness those hidden minutes and learn a language in them. So now you're on lesson 6 of the grammar. Pick up. Here's to me the real good, clean, fun part. Pick up the newspaper and turn to the number 1 story on page 1 in the foreign language. Now you say, what? I'm not ready yet. I'm just on chapter 6 of the grammar. I know. I'm going to send you into battle early. You take a yellow felt pen. It's the last piece of equipment you're going to have to buy. Take a yellow or a pink, some light color, felt pen, and you strike through every single word you don't know, through the whole first paragraph of the first story. Now step back and look at it. Man, it's nothing but solid yellow. Maybe you knew 1 or 2 words from the first 5 lessons of the grammar book, but you sure did not know 95% of those words, did you? Okay. Write those words down. Go to the dictionary. Look them up. Put the English on one side of a flashcard. And then when you flip it, have that word you didn't know on the other side. So you don't waste a whole flashcard on just one word. I've gotten 10, 15 words on one flashcard. So you flip, and there's the English. Let's see, how'd that go in Spanish, French, German, Italian? How did it go? And then you flip over, and you got it. Flip again, flip again, flip again, flip. Make little games with yourself. You're not gonna take that lifesaver and sweeten your mouth until you get 5 of these words on this flashcard that you only got 3 when you tried it this morning. Give yourself little incentives and games like that. Now then, you now have a paragraph in that newspaper that you tried to read. You could not. You didn't know 95% of the words, but you've got all the words on flashcards. Now, play around with those flashcards in those hidden moments in elevators, waiting for the phone, waiting for the light to change, all the et ceteras, and then go back to the second paragraph. Here's where you will feel like an army breaking through. From paragraph 1 to paragraph 2, you will see your progress like on a visual color computer chart, because you will know a greater percentage of the words in paragraph 2 than you knew in paragraph 1, and it's that feeling of progress that keeps you motivated and keeps it fun. By the time you get to the end of page 1, you will know 90% of the words rather than not know 95% of the words. Now, meanwhile, take a little walk. Let the cassette keep playing. Don't worry that you don't understand a word it says as you go to lesson 7 in the grammar, as you go to column 2, paragraph 4 of the newspaper, constantly harvesting the words you don't know, constantly learning them on flashcards. Then you will begin to understand what you hear on the tape recording. Now, after a short business break, I'll take phone calls. What's left now is the fun part. Pick conversation. Like some people pick fights in bars, you go pick conversations in restaurants. You will find then that the magic of learning the language comes true to you. Fraternities have secret hand clasps. Governments have secret codes. Lovers have special words that have meaning to them and only to each other. When you speak the other person's language, there is such a flash, such a rapport, such a goodness, and that too provides motivation for you. My telephone number's here. If you'd like to ask any question, specific, technical, I will summarize what I've told you, but that's it. There's no more magic. The rest is up to you. You will go to a movie, you'll walk out depressed, you won't understand anything, but then you will have absorbed from the English subtitles more than you thought you did. And what have you spent? A couple dollars, and you've enjoyed a movie. When you continue building your vocabulary, you will understand much more of the second movie than you understood of the first movie. What a thrill when you ask a waiter a question in Italian and he answers in Italian and you understand his answer and know how to answer him. These are the little perks. These are the little shots of Tabasco on your ego that lift you forward and make it you almost have to keep yourself from this core. You don't have to force yourself to it. You will have to slam it away at night and get it out of your head in order to sleep. You'll be so eager to learn more words and more phrases and develop more competence so you can have better conversations with those waiters and people who speak that other language the next day. In New York, you may call me at 343-WMCA, 343-WMCA. In Long Island, 883-WMCA, 883-WMCA. In Westchester, 237-WMCA, 237-WMCA. In New Jersey, 360-WMCA, 360-WMCA. And the Manhattan number again is 343-WMCA. Let's declare a political truce right now. Let's confine calls to those who want to ask specific questions on learning a foreign language.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for joining us on Air New Zealand. Our route tonight will take us by way of Honolulu,
2,553,
Auckland,
4,406,
and on into Sydney.
1,343.
We'll be cruising at an altitude of
Excuse me, what are you doing?
Figuring out my mileage.
Figuring out. But why?
For United Airlines.
But this is Air New Zealand. Why United?
Well, because Air New Zealand and United are united in the United Mileage Plus program.
Oh.
See, all these Air New Zealand miles go right into my Mileage Plus account. And since we're in Pacific class,
Yeah, isn't it terrific?
I get a 25% bonus. First class is 50%.
That's a pretty good deal.
I know an even better one.
Oh, what's that?
After I get all these miles on my Mileage Plus account,
Yes?
I can use them on Air New Zealand.
One more question.
What's that?
How far is it to Fiji?
Oh, far enough. Can I buy you a drink?
They're free.
Oh.
Air New Zealand. Daily 747s from Los Angeles to Australia and New Zealand.
The following safety message is brought to us by Medeco Security Locks. Medeco High Security Locks provide the best protection for your family, home, and business. Medeco, the expert's choice. Ready? A door and frame may have separated over the years, making it easy to insert a prying instrument between them. This problem can be corrected by installing an angle iron on the door.
I was robbed. They cleaned me out. The door was locked, but it didn't stop them. The police estimated that it took less than 30 seconds to break in. I should have listened to my locksmith.
Your professional locksmith. Ask him, and he'll recommend Medeco locks, the tough lock that locks out crime. It's almost impossible to pick. It defies drilling and brutal attacks. Medeco, one tough lock that protects you and New York. Your locksmith has it.
Listen to what Pam Young of McHenry, Illinois, said about Ayds appetite suppressant candies.
I was overweight and, I looked terrible. Ayds helped me lose 17 pounds.
And here's what Joan Kelly of Sicklerville, New Jersey, said about the Ayds diet plan.
Before I lost weight with Ayds, I was embarrassed to go any place. The Ayds diet plan helped me lose 19 pounds.
Both Ayds and diet pills help control your appetite so you lose weight. But Ayds does more. You taste, chew, and enjoy the Ayds diet cubes. And the appetite suppressant in Ayds is not a stimulant.
The Ayds diet plan really helped me get back into a size 12.
Question, why take diet pills when you can enjoy Ayds? Ayds controls your appetite so you lose weight, but you taste, chew, and enjoy Ayds diet cubes.
And Ayds doesn't contain anything to make me nervous.
Ayds appetite suppressant candies help you lose weight, and they won't make you jittery. Weight loss varies with individuals. Use only as directed.
What's behind the pet that pizzazz? Stevie, really?
Low for
Furniture in Belmore, Casco, Sleep World, and Dinettes in Center Reach, and Hushabye, and New Hyde Park, Huntington, and Forest Hills. All want you to get away from it all. They'd like to send you down to the Tropicana Hotel and Casino for a 3-day, 2-night vacation. They'd like to fly you round trip from LaGuardia to Baderfield and Allegheny Commuter Airlines. They'd like to give you free parking at the Tropicana, dinner for 2, and breakfast every morning. But they can't do a thing unless you enter the fabulous Sealy WMCA sweepstakes. It's so easy. Just stop by at these participating Sealy retailers for details. No purchase necessary. And Belmore, Low Furniture in Center Reach, Casco, Sleep World, and Dinettes. And in New Hyde Park, Huntington, and Forest Hills, it's Hushabye.
WMCA, New York.
Two little mice trapped in the corner. Big old Siamese cat crawling in toward him, glowering. One of the mice cupped his little hands to his lips and yelled, "Bow wow!" Cat turned around and ran. Mouse turned to the other mouse and said, "You see, that's the advantage of knowing a second language." Well, if you're human, there are many more advantages for knowing a second language. Let's see how many of you we can start on your way. WMCA, Barry Farber, welcome.
Hello, my name's Willie from Staten Island.
Yes.
I'm in a real pickle. My wife's Korean, but she came here at a very young age.
Uh-huh.
She has no knowledge of the language.
Uh-huh.
And, I've been trying to find a dictionary that translates Korean, into phonetic
sir,
speaking.
no, sir, that's not going to help you. That's like saying, I'm hungry, I want to buy a can opener.
Well,
you've got to get more. You will be absolutely helpless with a dictionary. I don't care how phonetic it is, because languages have more than just words. They have grammar, which you must come to understand.
Right, but what I'm getting at is the only thing that I've come across, all the, like, for instance, a Korean English dictionary, which you would pick up, is written in English with kanji, Chinese symbols.
Right.
And unless you know what a Chinese symbol is, and their pronunciation, for instance, they don't pronounce F's. They pronounce an F as a B.
Mm-hmm.
Like tofu would be pronounced tobu.
Right.
And I was one. You struck a chord. I haven't gone around to all the places. I guess Barnes & Noble may have them, but, I'm on Staten Island. I haven't been up the city, got a chance. But I thought it would be possible that you could lead me, give me some sort of where I could...
I'm sure I can. I don't... there are many commercial courses. One happens to be my sponsor in my late night broadcast, so the last thing I want to do is give the name of my sponsor over the air.
Right.
Shop around, but I would just give you this bit of general advice. Do not use the phonetics as a crutch forever. Learn the Korean alphabet. Sure, you use the phonetics, the English phonetics, to learn the Korean alphabet, but don't go for... You are really learning half a loaf. For instance, if you learn Chinese and Japanese and avoid the written language. It's better than nothing. I'm not going to be a fuss budget, but go ahead, plunge in. The water's fine. Wrestle with the characters. They'll enrich you for the rest of your lives. Thank you very much, and good luck to you.
Okay, thank you.
WMCA, Barry Farber, your turn.
Hi, Mr. Farber. This is June.
Yes, June.
I am delighted with this subject today. My interest is French.
Uh-huh.
I was wondering where I could get beginner's tapes.
Oh, sir, wait a minute. This is, the first question and this question make me ashamed that I haven't done this years ago. Look at the, forget it, I'm not putting you down, but I'm saying in this day, 1983, in the New York, you've got to be in the New York City area because you're not calling long distance.
Right.
We have done such a bad job, we who love foreign languages, that you don't even know whether or not you can get elementary French tapes. You can be hip deep in elementary French tapes. If you go to, I don't mind mentioning stores that are not my sponsors. Go to Brentano's. There's the Alliance Française. Look them up. They're on the east side of Manhattan somewhere. They have a French library. And anyhow, let me tell you what I've just decided to do. And let me make this announcement early. I'll make it again. If anybody would like to join a linguists club, a linguists club for the purpose of learning foreign languages. It would not involve laborious, endless meetings, but it would be more of a mailing list than anything else. So that word of Korean courses, and if you send in your names and addresses, let me tell you what I will do. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life organizing a linguist club, but I'll be willing to do the following. I will personally visit a Korean restaurant, a Japanese restaurant, a Chinese restaurant, and I will talk the owners into giving discounts to members of the club who want to come as well as have a meal and practice the language, and they will agree to employ friendly, intelligent waiters who will play the game and talk the language to members of our club. Okay, so if you want to join that linguist club, just write Linguist Club, Barry Farber, WMCA, that's all. Just write Linguist Barry Farber, WMCA, and we'll put you on a mailing list, and we'll see if we can get some restaurants to serve as places where when you go and show the club card, they will give you a meaningful discount and agree to correct your French, German, Spanish, Italian, Korean, and, you know, if the waiter has a few minutes, he's not going to sit down and tutor you. He's not going to take his time off to correct your spelling, but he may exchange an extra word or two knowing that you are a member of the club and are there not merely to dine, but to practice his language.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That's something I'm willing to do. If you want to be on the mailing list of the language club, linguist club, we just thought of it, so we haven't named it yet. We haven't got a charter and printed bylaws or anything. But the purpose would simply be to facilitate the learning of foreign language by knowing who we are, sending information on what materials are available at what cost, and what restaurants are willing to take you on, give you a discount, and have waiters who are able and willing to deal with you in that language. Not bad. Just write language or linguist, whatever. Care of me, Barry Farber, WMCA, New York, 10019.
The following is from the owner's manual of one of the most popular personal computers.
DOS formats diskettes at 9 sectors per track, which increases capacity.
If this isn't your idea of fun reading, you should know about the Eagle personal computer. The Eagle PC has highly advanced technical features, like a very large mainboard memory. But the best feature is that to operate an Eagle PC, you don't need a memory like a computer.
Diskettes created by DOS version 1 or DOS...
Instead of a lot of complicated commands, you just plug the Eagle in.
Also usable with DOS version 2.0.
Instead of technical jargon, the Eagle PC talks to you in English. If you need help, you just press the key that says, Help. With the IBM-compatible Eagle PC, you learn to compute by computing. So while you're still reading about other personal computers,
in Chapter 6 for more information.
The Eagle PC will have you flying. For the name of your nearest Eagle dealer, call 800-538-8157, extension 938.
There are hundreds of books advising the businessman on how to manage, market, and sell. Western Airlines has just published a new book, too, on how to get ahead. It's our new schedule, and it's filled with new ideas, like flights based on arrival times, not just departures, because it's when you get someplace that really counts, and schedules that get you home the same day. Between the lines is a theme only a big, experienced airline can write: service. Do you want more? Here are selected excerpts.
Western has the business schedules you need to California, with service twice a day to San Diego, including the new early morning direct flight. Starting October 1st, they'll make business a pleasure with Western's new flight to Palm Springs. Western's new fall schedule could be the best business book you've ever used.
Western Airlines. We've got a name to live up to.
Along the 5 miles of Atlantic City's famous boardwalk, there's only one spot that sizzles: the Tropicana. September 16th and 17th, enjoy country music at its best when one of America's premier country superstars, Dottie West, headlines in the Royal Swan Ballroom.
An overnight sensation.
Opening for Dottie West will be the David Alexander Winter Show. Showtime Friday at the Tropicana is 10:30. Saturday showtimes are 8 and 11:30. Tickets are $10 and $12.50. Or make it an extra special evening by joining us Saturday for dinner and the show. Dinner seating begins at 6 6 o'clock, dinner show tickets are $25.50. Tickets are now on sale at the Tropicana box office and all Ticketron outlets. September 16th and 17th, Dottie West brings you her sizzling, sexy style of country music. Catch her at the Tropicana, where every second sizzles.
I don't know what I can do for you, but I can tell you what you're doing for me. It is a marvelous thing to live all your life thinking you're a freak and realize there's so many others like you. I thought learning languages was the freakiest hobby in the world. I was sort of ashamed of it. This board is blazing. There are many of you. We will not have time to talk to all of you, but I will volunteer to organize a linguists club. Let's call it a language club, okay? No meetings, no dues, merely to pay for the cost of a newsletter. I'm hedging my bet in case there has to be some charge down the road. It will be nominal, if any. But the main purpose of the language club will be to line up businesses, stores, and restaurants where you can go to practice that language, where you will get a discount, particularly restaurants where the waiters will talk to you knowing that you came not merely to dine, but to talk. WMCA, Barry Farber, your turn.
Hello, Barry.
Yes.
How you doing?
Fine. Hope you are, too.
Okay, listen, I've been out of high school since 1949 now. I mean, I graduated high school, and you came along tonight, gave me what I've been looking for, because nobody could give me the outline that you gave tonight. And my question is now, is it necessary to take a refresher course in English before you go into any language?
I am not qualified to answer that question. I will only tell you that one of the brightest Chinese scholars I ever met was an American whose English was not too good. Promise me this, if you are motivated enough to try a foreign language, don't wait until you feel you are qualified in English, because you will find a marvelous backblast. You will find that your tackling of the other language will help your English. It will backfire on you and help your English. May I ask what language it is you're interested in tackling first?
Well, you know, I'm going to start off in Spanish.
Uh-huh.
And I was in the French when I was in high school, but all I did was save the girls, and now I'm sorry.
Good luck on Spanish.
Well, let me ask you another question. Tonight on your show, will you have your sponsor? Will you have your sponsor on your show?
Oh dear, I tell you what, I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that, because that could be considered. You know, in labor law, they have what they call secondary boycotts. It could be considered a secondary plug if I say yes. I'm not going to tell you now, but listen to my show.
Okay, I'll listen to you every night anyway.
Thank you, sir.
I'll keep listening then.
Thank you, and good luck in Spanish is buena suerte.
Okay.
Okay, take care. Hello, New Jersey. Welcome.
Barry?
Yes.
This is Paul.
Yes, Paul.
My question is twofold. One is similar to the previous caller and his question about English. Would your program help one become more proficient in English if he did the exact same thing and did it with his English language? Say, for instance, I have a friend whose native language is Spanish.
I see. Well, no, forgive me. I was about to confess confusion, but now I'm not confused anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you meant, Barry, if you are American but you don't speak English well and you want to improve English, will the technique you outlined work? I never once thought about that in my life. But if you're saying if somebody born in a foreign country uses the technique on English, of course it'll work. Matter of fact, the question is charming. When the telephone first came out, there was a trade fair in Detroit, I think.
Yes.
And two Japanese gentlemen came up to the man in charge of the telephone exhibit. The telephone was brand new. And they, with great politeness and embarrassment, asked if this new invention would work in Japanese. So you're asking the same thing. Of course it'll work. Except your friend who was born in a foreign country will have an easier time because he is immersed in the English language here in New York.
Absolutely. Well, since you brought the question up, would it help an American whose native language was English?
Well, there we're into vocabulary building and learning grammar. Let me put it this way. Yes, but that's not my table.
Yes.
That's into a different field of education. I've just always been excited. To me, the most exciting music in the world is the babble of strange tongues in the marketplace. And improving English, I recognize as being very important. As a matter of fact, it's one of the things I pound the table about on the broadcasts here. You read where the Birmingham police have to teach special courses in police English because the spelling of the police force in Birmingham, and it's not just Birmingham, but this is the one that made the papers. The policemen coming up through the educational system today spell so poorly that defense attorneys are getting defendants acquitted by holding up examples of the police report with porch spelled like P-O-A-R-C-H, you know. And they're telling the jury, can you trust a policeman who spells like this? You understand?
Yeah, well, speaking of marketplace, I know a lot of people who are clerks and secretaries and so on who speak another language or even two languages. I don't see it as that applicable to the everyday business making a living area. It seems to be in the realm of a hobby for most people.
Well, it is. I don't want to get on bended knee and play a mandolin and sell you on why you should learn a language.
Yes.
The first thing they taught me in the Boy Scouts is never help old ladies across the street if they don't want to go, because it leads to violence every time. I will simply tell you that I have found it a very enriching thing. I originally meant to learn foreign languages to increase social contacts with the women of various countries and to, quote, get ahead, which was an acceptable goal when I was younger.
Yes.
And I can't claim I had any great ambition to tackle the literature and understand the culture. I recognize all reasons as good ones. We need more linguists, the United States of America, and I think it is hard to be unenriched by the knowledge of another language.
Do you feel like a voice crying in the wilderness, though? Because few people, I have people who will say to me, the language of the world is now English. Other countries have to learn English to just get along in commerce, whereas we in America don't actually have to learn those other languages.
No, because once you speak English, then you will perceive how disrespected the Americans who don't even try to learn their language, and what disrespect, non-esteem they are held. You will really feel high and inside. The natives of that country will put their arms around you and say, we didn't want to say it before you knew our language, but now you're special. These other Americans, and they'll show a little contempt.
I see.
We have obviously hung up on the previous caller. I was waiting to see if that light would light up again, meaning another caller is coming in before answering your question, do I feel like I'm crying in the wilderness? I don't now. I'm almost in tears that there's so many people crowding our switchboards now trying to get tips. So let me move on and talk to them, and thank you for your comment.
I'm a big fan, and thank you.
Thank you.
Right now, Sunnyside Sleep Centers in Long Island City, Kew Gardens Hills, and Queens Village is offering incredible savings on the mattress brand that outsells the next two brands combined, Sealy, really. And Sunnyside, make sure to enter their fabulous Sealy WMCA sweepstakes. Win a vacation for two in Atlantic City. No purchase necessary. Come into Sunnyside today. Save big on a firm Sealy set, or choose from a tremendous selection of other Super Sealy bedding, including Sealy Posturepedic, all at exceptional savings right now at Sunnyside Sleep Centers in Long Island City, Kew Gardens Hills, and Queens Village.
Hair. The answer is here. Hair Innovations Advanced Hair Addition Process for Men 1983 adds hair to your own hair, naturally. Their advanced process is non-medical, non-surgical, performed by an expert licensed professional staff. Wash your hair, style it, brush it, or swim, all at an affordable cost. For a free confidential consultation or brochure, call 212-867-2590. That's 212-867-2590. Hair, the answer is here.
New Jersey's factory outlet wall covering stores with thousands of wall covering styles for every room on display and in stock at all times. Super low factory outlet prices. Free take-home and try samples. Credit cards accepted. It's time to redecorate and save at Fabulous Wall Covering.
Here's a typical value. First quality handcrafted Oriental and European grass cloth, string, and textile wall coverings. Over 100 patterns stocked in the most popular colors. Regular values from $19.95 to $39.95, only $9.95 a roll. Add natural beauty to your home at huge savings.
Fabulous Wall Covering. Factory outlets in West Orange, Paramus, Edison, and Garwood, New Jersey.
Listen to what Pam Young of McHenry, Illinois, said about Ayds appetite suppressant candies.
I was overweight and, I looked terrible. Ayds helped me lose 17 pounds.
And here's what Joan Kelly of Sicklerville, New Jersey, said about the Ayds diet plan.
Before I lost weight with Ayds, I was embarrassed to go any place. The Ayds diet plan helped me lose 19 pounds.
Both Ayds and diet pills help control your appetite so you lose weight. But Ayds does more. You taste, chew, and enjoy the Ayds diet cubes. And the appetite suppressant in Ayds is not a stimulant.
The Ayds diet plan really helped me get back into a size 12.
Question, why take diet pills when you can enjoy Ayds? Ayds controls your appetite so you lose weight, but you taste, chew, and enjoy Ayds diet cubes.
And Ayds doesn't contain anything to make me nervous.
Ayds appetite suppressant candies help you lose weight, and they won't make you jittery. Weight loss varies with individuals. Use only as directed.
World-class style. It's what you want, and it's what you get in Mazda, Saab, and Peugeot, the world-class cars featured at Meteor Motors. Expect world-class service from Meteor Motors' expert staff, plus unbeatable prices. Next time you see a new Mazda, Saab, or Peugeot on the road, don't wonder where. For where in the world but at Meteor Motors, Coney Island Avenue between Avenues O and P. Call 375-6553.
57 WMCA, New York.
Barry Farber, your turn.
Hi, Barry. I'm going to have an opportunity to visit Egypt pretty soon, and I was wondering if you know of any of those cassette companies that would teach Arabic. I haven't been able to find any.
Yes, but if you're going to visit Egypt soon, I would go for a shorty. I would go for a traveler's phrase guide, or I would do them concurrently. Don't kid yourself that you're going to tackle a course in Arabic with no background and make any headway if you are going to visit Egypt soon. What I'd rather see you do is arm yourself with 50 to 100 phrases. Watch their faces light up as you go to the bazaar and say, ahla wa sahla, and they light up, and then, they crawl all over you when you speak a little bit of their language. Certain countries are more linguistically appreciative than others. Speak Hungarian to a Hungarian, oh, you've made his day. Speak Norwegian to a Norwegian, he gets weak in the knees. Arabic to an Egyptian. French to a Frenchman, that doesn't exactly race their motors. They don't cave in, you know. But everybody appreciates it.
I haven't seen any books on Arabic.
Have you looked in these stores? Doubleday, Brentano. I guess what I can safely do is say that if you want to write to me, I will connect you with a course, and if that's interpreted as a commercial, then pretend that's my favorite form of civil disobedience, but I'd like to connect you with an Arabic course that my sponsor, I don't think, sells a shorty, but I will try to find a shorty for you.
Oh, thank you.
All right, now let me pass out the reminder. If anybody wants to join our language club, I don't know what it's going to, I'm not going to make any statement about what shape it's going to take, but if you are interested in the concept of a language club, just write Barry Farber, WMCA, New York.
I'm all in favor of that.
Okay, thank you very much, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Take care. Just write Language Club, Barry Farber, WMCA, New York, 10019. Welcome to WMCA.
Hi, Barry. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
This is Joe. I know someone who is from Taiwan, and she speaks English fairly well, but she would like to improve it. I know you're familiar with the language, you speak it. Can you make some suggestions other than those procedures that you mentioned earlier?
Yes, of course, we'd have to change that because she is over here, and I am not familiar with the courses in Mandarin Chinese for Chinese who want to learn English. I would recommend that she rely on her Chinese friends who already speak English, because English and Chinese contain a lot of phrases which are literally untranslatable. You just have to, you've got to forget the words and pick up the melody. And her Chinese friends who know both will be of greater help to her than a plain old American professional teacher of English to the foreign-born. Her Chinese friends can be a way station in the middle.
Okay.
But, of course, the fact that she's in America means the problem should get a little better every day.
Right.
I guess the best advice I haven't given yet is none of this shyness. One advantage we Americans have is we are the only people in the world who enjoy speaking a foreign language poorly. Give us 2 or 3 phrases, we're in business. Give us 5 or 6, we're dangerous. A lot of people, particularly Chinese, are shy. They don't want to expose their weakness in English. Encourage her to experiment, to venture, to try, to make mistakes, to smile at them, to try again, and get in conversations. That's the best medicine.
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you. WMCA, Barry Farber, your turn.
Hello. I'd like to know, how much headway do I have to make in the study of my first foreign language before I can begin the study of my second?
Well, do as I say, not as I do, because I tackled 2 or 3 together, and I don't know, my memory is not good enough. I started studying when I was 14, and at times I was tackling 4 and 5 at the same time, and the only way I can justify it is on the grounds of keep it fun. I'd get a little bit bored with one language, or it would get hard, and I'd find that if I were going to enjoy the 15 minutes that I've got for language study, it's got to be with the second and third language. I think that's probably a little bit promiscuous. What I would urge you to do is get an intermediate at least. Be, if not fluent, at least be conversant, be competent, be able to read over 50% of the words on the front page of a normal newspaper in that language before you move on to the second one.
Right.
Also, it depends on what the second one is.
Okay, in other words, I want to learn French and I want to learn German. So what grade level should I be reading in French before I can go on to the German?
There is no, I've never brought this up with other people who are interested in languages before, and I have no degree. I mean, if I were giving you medical advice, they'd lock me up by now, because all I am is a lingua phony, somebody who has dabbled in many languages and had a lot of fun doing it. I would say that it's okay. Do not wait until you finish French before tackling German, because you will never finish French, just as you will never finish English, even if you're born here. Andy Griffith once said, New York will be a great city when they get it finished. Well, they're never going to get New York finished. When you graduate, when you can understand the conversation at the next table in a French restaurant, more or less, when you can understand the gist of a newscast over over French radio, and by the way, it's a major thing I left out. New York City is rich in foreign language broadcasts. Are you aware of that?
Right, yeah.
I don't mean shortwave, Voice of America type stuff. There are radio stations that broadcast in 42 different languages, different times of different days. So when you can begin to understand the French, when you are happy, when you get compliments on your French, even from people who have no reason to compliment you, it's hard to tell. But when you feel that you've really got a good grip, go ahead on into German.
I see. Now, does it matter which one I begin first?
No, absolutely not.
Doesn't matter.
It's your choice.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. WMCA, Barry Farber, your turn.
This is Jean. I enjoy your program very much. In reference to the foreign languages, does a person have to have exceptional intelligence, memory, or sight, or auto-visual? I find that I try to learn a language, and I find it a little difficulty, and I don't know whether it's because I have to see things written. I don't always pick up sound.
Well, I will tip off my hand to some extent. A man I know named Harry Lorayne, who's the world's greatest memory expert, has given us a tool. It is a means to learn vocabulary. You can look at a list of words and just repeat them over and over and turn the page, and you may not remember them. You may have very great difficulty. But Harry Lorayne has a system. It's almost a stunt. I wish if we had more than 2 minutes left, I would demonstrate it for you, where you can use a definite way. It's a word association image game. And in that way, you tackle vocabulary and you become more intelligent because you use an intelligent system. I will definitely try to get Harry Lorayne involved in this language club to make those pages of his book on learning foreign language vocabulary available to club members. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Barry Farber, your turn.
Hello?
Yes?
My name is Phyllis. First I want to say I think your facility with English is absolutely fantastic, and I think that might have some reason for your interest and your ability to learn other languages.
Thank you, ma'am.
I have a situation. We're going to Paris exactly 1 month from now, and I've been trying to practice with the linguaphone system, and as happens, I haven't kept up with it, and I'm not sure that's a realistic thing to even try to do for 4 weeks from now. I've had high school French, and I, have a feeling for the sound of the language, but I wonder if there's any reality in trying to learn enough to use a little bit, at least, when we go there.
Absolutely. I am piling up more ideas than I have time to deal with. Go ahead, again, concentrate on phrases. When you get back, start the linguaphone. Linguaphone was the first language course I ever studied. I have a great reverence for it. Start that. If you're going to France soon, like I advise the woman who's going to Egypt, get some phrases so you will get some experience in speaking and being understood.
You mean just do that?
That's right.
and not figure that I'm going to really be able to converse.
Until you get back,
Yeah.
or start simultaneously.
Okay.
Hey, thank you very much. I'm sorry. I will ask everybody on the line to hold. I will talk to you when we go off the air. If you want to join a language club, we don't know what form it's going to take. Write language, Barry Farber, WMCA.
AP Network News, I'm Wendell Golder. The Senate has joined the House in condemning the Soviet Union for the Korean airline massacre. Lawmakers voted within the hour to approve the same resolution the House passed.
There were so many phrases and words which I simply couldn't hear. It's not a question of memorization.
You remind me of that guy they hired down at City Hall in a small southern town to go out and collect the coins from the parking meters. And the guy had a very good first week, did his job well. As they do in southern towns, kept the receipts with him for the next Monday morning in big mail bag type thing. Didn't show up Monday, didn't show up Tuesday, didn't show up Wednesday. Thursday, got a call from the paymaster saying, look, you hadn't been in. Don't you want to pick up your salary check? And he said, oh, you mean I get a salary too? Now, you are speaking to me as though you think that by listening to tapes, that is supposed to teach you the language, just like drinking tomato juice is supposed to give you whatever vitamins are contained therein.
No, I don't mean that. I was just hoping to learn the phrases that are on a 60-minute tape, not to learn the entire language.
Oh, well, by the way, I can't imagine your French or your Norwegian course that doesn't have a coordinated English, a coordinated print. In other words, you listen, but can't you also look at a page and see the Norwegian that's being spoken and the English translation?
Well, there's...
Learn a language, because I sense massive confusion. You don't just buy a cassette. Here's what you need. If you really want to tackle a language, you go to a store. Don't you count on any course to do it for you. You're absolutely right. They are all bricks. They're selling you bricks. You got to build them into a structure. Get yourself a good dictionary. Get a good grammar book. Get some reading material on an elementary level, and that's admittedly hard to do. You may have to order it. Forget that. That's not that important. Get at least some grown-up reading material, a Norwegian newspaper or a magazine. Get a yellow felt pen. Now, you go ahead, you learn, don't do a thing until you study 5 lessons of the grammar. Oh, you can listen to the cassettes, but just listen as though it's music. Get familiar with the sound of the words. After you finish your 5th grammar lesson, then you pick up the reading material, and it's going to be way, 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 way over your head. You get the yellow felt pen, and you underline every word you don't know. I'd be surprised if you don't underline every word in the first paragraph. Now, listen to this. This is a beautiful exercise, I'm telling you now. This is just like watching. This is almost like biofeedback conquering of a language. So you have written you have underlined or overlined in yellow felt pen every single word you don't know. And you take blank cards available at every stationery store, and you write the English on one side of that card. Flip it over. Write the Norwegian on the other. Of the words you don't know, carry them with you. Study them in the elevator, in the hidden moments that you didn't realize you had, waiting for a bus, waiting for the other person to pick up on the telephone, waiting for a train. And then you will master the words you didn't know in the first... I'm just talking about the first paragraph. That's all, of a Norwegian magazine or newspaper.
I think maybe I'm not making myself clear. What I mean is...
You will attack on all fronts. Why settle for that? Why settle for the first 25 miles of a language when you can conquer the capital? I'm saying that you then continue all things simultaneously. When you get up in the morning, I don't excuse you if you don't listen to the news. But once you get the news and you still have shaving to do and putting on shoes and stuff, maybe making a bed, I get in a half hour of a language cassette in the morning, just plain old getting ready for the world. And going to bed at night, in the kitchen, fixing coffee. There are plenty of places to hear that sound. But then the fun comes when you go to the second paragraph of the Norwegian. You will see there are not as many yellow lines through your words as there was in even one paragraph earlier, because you know some of the words repeat, and you know some already. By the time you get to the end of the 4th column on that page, you see that you know about half the words. When you get to the next page, you see more ununderlined words than you see underlined words. And that's like a medical chart showing you're being cured of not knowing the Norwegian language. You understand what I mean? Go to 214. I'll tell you, this is going to interest you as a professional. I learned 20 from Dr. Nutt. I found that my number 3 was always weak. I kept forgetting whatever was number 3, because what I was associating number 3 with, maybe we should tell the listeners one step more and everybody can follow along. What do we mean by keys and targets and pegs? In order to remember 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 things in a row, so you can repeat them forwards, backwards, or from the middle out, or just pick up number 68 if that's what you want. In order to do that, you memorize, let's see, you already know your name, you know your phone number, you know your address, you remember something else with just as much clarity, and that is your keys. Now, my keys were from 1 to, I'll just give you from 1 to 10. 1 was alarm clock, 2 was pair of pants, 3 was stool, 4 table, 5 newspaper, 6 automobile, 7 policemen, 8 revolving door, 9 mailbox, and 10 general delivery window. Those were Dr. Nutt's keys. And he took us up to 20. 3 kept on falling out. I couldn't associate. The objective is to take what you want to learn and make a vivid association.
Yes, a visual association. Now, our list of keywords are based on a number code. Are you familiar with the number code itself?
No. Anyhow, what I was going to tell you was, I just want to show the listeners, I'm now looking at a little, well, I'm trying to find something that I should want to remember. Give me a word that I should want to remember.
Elephant.
Elephant. All right, what number do you want elephant to be?
Well, let's let you up to 20.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, make it 17.
All right, number 17 was my first girlfriend. So I just imagine, now I don't imagine merely my first girlfriend on an elephant's back, because that'll stand up in a list of 10. It'll stand up maybe in a list of 20. But when you get up to 50, it's not vivid enough. You've got to make that association vivid. You've got to imagine that my girlfriend has all of a sudden gone into the elephant breeding business, and she's in trouble with the police in her local town, and the elephants are breaking out at night, and they're stepping all over the shrubbery and walking out on the throughway, and she's in terrible trouble because my first girlfriend is raising elephants. Girlfriend elephants. That'll stick. All right, now, number 3, stool, kept falling out for me, so I put in football field. I find it very easy to associate anything with something on a football field. That's what I did. Once I needed more than 20, all of a sudden. So I ad-libbed a few keys. Number 21 became Iceland. The island of Iceland, arbitrary. But then number 21 became the next country going east. So that was Norway. And number 22 was the next country east. That was Denmark.
I memorized 1,000 encyclopedia articles and the page numbers in which they were in the particular volumes, so that, for example, during those years...
I think that's vainglorious learning just to show off. No, the point is, if you wanted to remember 784 things, you would make an association between a vivid and, if possible, vulgar.
Yeah, I've made many uses of it.
I just wish more people knew the pleasure that you get from developing your memory like this, and it is a little trick. All I'm telling you is that when Lily and I were driving to Key West, we saw all the Florida keys on a wall.
Yeah.
And in 10 seconds, I had them all committed to memory. Anyhow, I got back to Munich, and the Hungarians had taken over the Leutpold barracks, which belonged to the United States Army.
Right.
And they'd taken down all the English signs and the German signs, and they put up Hungarian signs, Orvosh for doctor and Ruhal for clothes.
Right.
And I was looking for the men's room one time, and in most countries of the world, it's easy to tell, Monsieur from Mesdames, or Damen, head, and Senora, Senoras.
Right.
And here were 2 words on 2 different doors, Nook and Fairfiat. Now, hold it a minute. I didn't know whether I was a Nook or a Fairfiat. So I said, now, wait a minute. And then I remembered that Hungarian was an Oriental language. It was not European. And I had a few words of Chinese in my glove compartment. And I figured the K just makes it plural, so we're down to Fairfiat and Ferfi and Ne. Now, the Chinese word for woman is Ne. Just like Hungarian, Ne. Not no and not new, but Ne, the 2 dots over.
Right.
So I took my chances, and I barged into the one that said Fairfiat, and, man, I was so proud. There were 6 other Fairfiats in there, and I knew I'd made the right decision.
That's incredible.